The Tri-Cities is gearing up to present a wish list to local state legislators. You're watching News Channel 11 at 5. I'm Sarah Diamond.
I'm Josh Smith. Topping that list is the issue of annexation and de-annexation. It was a hot topic last legislative session and is expected to be brought up again in January. Sydney Cameron's here with more. Sydney, what are the Tri-Cities asking for?
You might remember last year there were sweeping changes to annexation laws in Tennessee. Now the Tri-Cities is asking state legislators to pass 2 more laws to help prevent any unintended consequences from those first changes. Johnson City Assistant City Manager Bob Wilson has worked tirelessly with Kingsport and Bristol to create this annual document, the Tri-Cities Joint Legislative Policy.
It's our way to let them know what we think is important for us.
It lets state lawmakers know where the Tri-Cities stands on certain issues that would impact our cities and citizens. A top concern this upcoming legislative session, annexation.
As most people are aware, there's been major changes in Tennessee's annexation laws.
One of those changes allowed Williamson County the right to bring land that does not border a city into city limits. The Tri-Cities want cities across the state to have the same power. Wilson says that Johnson City recently missed out on a growth opportunity with the new Shadden Springs subdivision because they're not allowed to annex non-contiguous land.
From our perspective, is if it's good enough for one county, it ought to be good enough for another county.
Lieutenant Governor Ron Ramsey doesn't agree.
I think that could be open a can of worms. To allow non-contiguous annexation without some kind of restraint and not looking at individually, I don't think that'll happen.
However, he does think the Tri-Cities recommendation to give property owners some power when it comes to de-annexing their land could gain traction at the state level.
If it's reasonable, yes, it does have the potential to pass.
Right now, property owners don't have any rights to initiate a de-annexation, but there's been talk about giving them some.
You may have bought extra equipment for garbage services, and now if when you start carving out areas of your city, it's going to have an impact on the cities.
Following a state commission's recommendation, the Tri-Cities wants to only allow property owners the right to de-annex themselves if a city fails to provide promised services like water and sewer improvements.
I think we'll look close at those recommendations to make sure that citizens have a say in this.
Of course, all of these recommendations are still up in the air. Kingsport, the last of the Tri-Cities, is set to adopt the policy at its Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting tonight.
Sydney Cameron in our newsroom. Sydney, thank you. Now, after that, local officials will meet with local and state lawmakers next month to go over the entire policy ahead of the legislative session.